Hey guys, FBK Napper here. I'm bringing you a little guide for League of Legends. This is a pretty newbie guide, so if you're new to the game, hopefully this will be able to help you out. We're going to be taking a quick look at last hitting. This is something I see so many people doing wrong all the time. Last hitting is basically you only get gold if you kill the minion. So this is your creep score, this is your last hits, this is your minion score, whatever you want to call it. This is how much gold you've earned from killing minions, and this is so important in game. This can make or break your whole game. If you're doing really badly, if you've not got a lot of kills or whatever, you can still make up for it by last hitting loads and loads of minions, getting a really high creep score. You can still make up for like a bad start to a game or whatever. So basically, we're going to be jumping on, having a look at Ashe, going to be last hitting some minions. Literally, it is just run around, keep moving, so you're not auto-attacking all of the time. Because the idea is not to push the creep wave back towards the enemy turret, because then the enemy has the advantage of being at their turret. But you want to just get the last hit, so let your minions do all the damage, and you basically steal the kill. Like, you just get one hit in just to finish the minion off. I had pushed a bit far there. We'll jump into another clip. This is pretty much exactly where you want to be. Like, your minion wave is more towards your side, so you've got the safety of the turret. So if this happens, the enemy pushes too far, you can absolutely punish them, because you've got the advantage of being back by your turret. You don't want to give the enemy that advantage by pushing too far, by playing really aggressively early on and pushing the minion wave back to their turret, so you're just picking off minions whenever they get past or whatever. It is good to push the minion wave back to their turret because it denies the enemy their last hits, but it's also pretty risky. It denies them their last hits because their turret is picking up most of their last hits. It's really hard to out damage the turret and do your last hits when the turret's attacking minions. Which is why you don't want to get pushed too far back towards your turret either, because your turret will steal your last hits. It'll be a lot more difficult for you to pick up last hits if the enemy minions are in turret range. About where the minions are now is like a perfect situation, because I know I'm not going to be. It's going to be difficult for me to be ganked from top. And I can jab at the enemy, I can put a couple of shots off on the enemy, like just keep harassing, but I'm also picking up all those last hits, getting all the gold that I need, like, to get good items. At this early game, I'm not too worried about getting kills at the moment. I'm just worried about getting my creep score up, last hitting like an absolute boss. As you can see from this clip on Xin Zhao, me and Gangplank have pushed a little bit too far, so our idea is to clear out the minions as fast as possible so Vayne and their turret can push us back, because we want the minion wave to be back towards our side, so we have the advantage of our turret. We don't have to run as far to get to a safe place if a gank comes up from river, and there's really not a lot we can do the whole time Vayne's sitting on the turret. And now the gank did come up from river. Luckily, Gangplank's ulti just destroyed everyone and let me pick up the kills, which was a bit of a touch. But that could have gone very badly for us because we was out of position. We'd pushed too far, and yeah, we needed the minion wave to be more towards the middle. But as we've just killed both of the top players, we can push the turret a little bit. We'll get a little bit of damage done on the turret. We'll poke a bit more. I maybe shouldn't have turned around here to clean up the minions, but I just let the minions push a bit more towards the middle. But I am turning around getting last hits. I'm still thinking that both of them are dead, and I'm pretty safe at the moment. Although it is quite early to be pushing the turret. I'm only level 7, so Vayne and Jarvan, I know Vayne and Jarvan won't be dead for very long. Vayne's already back. So yeah, probably the best idea is to let them push us back a bit further, get back to like a safe position, so we're safe from a gank. Let's talk about zoning for a little bit as well. Zoning is an important part of League of Legends gameplay, especially early game. You see I'm in the bush at top. It's kind of like an invisible zone of my area of being able to attack. And Jarvan just walked straight into it, and that's why he didn't know I was in the bush, and he got punished for not knowing. but as you see later, you can use this zone to your advantage as well, which is what we're doing now, because Vayne knows we're both in the bush. So she knows she doesn't know where we are in the bush. She like, we might be right at the edge, waiting for her to come in, and we'll jump on her straight away, like with the ranged attacks. So she has to stay away. She has to stay away from the minions. She has to stay away from like the area that their minions are dying in and our minions are dying in. So she's being denied experience points. She's being denied last hits, basically taking her out of the game for a short period of time. And this is like a really basic tactic that a lot of people don't seem to use at all. Because you need to just deny the opponents as much as you can to just get as much of an advantage over them as you can. For later in the game, like, you'll have the advantage, the little bits you deny them, like if you deny them a couple of minions here, a couple of last hits they've been denied there, it all adds up over the course of the game, and you'll end up like with a quite a large advantage come mid-game, come late game or whatever. This is a good example of me being zoned out. I know Jarvan's in the top bush and his range is huge, so I can't really get in. I still get jumped by Jarvan anyway, even though I thought I was out of his range. But that was him zoning me out. Luckily, Gangplank came in and saved the day again. But yeah, that was because I knew Jarvan was in that top bush, so I couldn't push round towards the top bush, and Vayne was on the other side. I couldn't push towards Vayne. I was really at a disadvantage. I was kind of stuck on the edge of both of their like attack ranges, so they were denying me last hits. They weren't quite far enough to deny me experience, but still denying me last hits and gold, which is a good thing for them to do. It gets them an advantage. I'm not getting as much gold. I'm not getting as powerful as I possibly could be. Here we're going to see an example of it's not just characters and minions that can have a zone. Like you see Gangplank's ultimate come down there. Like that whole ultimate area, the whole area of damage that can be done to Jarvan, that creates a zone as well. The safest path for Jarvan to run is not through there. He would have had to run all the way around the top through top bush to get away from us, and it basically, either way he runs, he knows he's going to die. So like you put the zone down behind him and kind of trapped him between two difficult places to be, giving him no options. So that was an example of an ability being able to have a zone as well, like a targeted ability that's persistent on the floor also has its own little zone. Also, I want to talk about some early game aggression. Tons of times you see people, like, as soon as the game starts, they'll run straight to the other team's bush, like where Wukong is right now. They'll run straight there, and they're just in the hopes of being the first person to get there. They'll face check the bush, which is never a good idea. But we're talking about early game aggression at the moment. I'm trying to play defensively because I can see Kassadin's low. Wukong and Corki are both reasonably strong low-level characters, and you can see Wukong and Corki have both overextended completely. Our minions are hitting them, I'm hitting them, Cass is hitting them. That was really, really over-aggressive by Wukong and Corki, and I pick up a double kill from it, just punishing them for their mistake. They should never have attacked Kassadin in that situation. He was back out of the way, he was like in a reasonably good position, and Wukong just completely overextended, and Corki's come in to pick up the kill as well. They've both gone for the kill, and they got punished for it. I end up picking up a double. Another thing, face checking bushes is where you check the bush by running into it. So the first thing into the bush is your face, and if there's someone in the bush, your face is getting melted 9 times out of 10. So yeah, first thing early game, they'll run into the bush and just be so aggressive. They'll face check that bush, and like it can go really badly. Like it can go well, you can get there first and it gives you an advantage, but it can also go really, really badly. And you end up at such a massive disadvantage starting off. Like you end up with no life, possibly the worst case scenario, you both die, and it's really not a good position to be in. It's not worth the risk of checking that bush. You've got nothing, you've got no abilities at the moment like to check bushes to see if anyone's there. There's no need for you to be in that bush anyway, especially if your two characters that are in your lane are both weak level 1 characters. like Kassadin and me on Ashe at level 1, we were both really weak, but Kassadin wanted to push in and he pushed all the way over to the other side, and luckily they weren't there. But if they was there, Wukong and Corki would have destroyed him, because I wasn't with him. There's no way I'm going in wasting my life like to go and try and save him. He's being an idiot doing the wrong thing. He could clearly see that I wasn't there, so he even knew it was a 1-on-2, but he decided to stay there anyway. Luckily it didn't all go tits up. You can see here, because I'm in a good position, I'm not overextended, I've not pushed too far, I'm able to escape Corki's gank, and we both survive, and we're able to damage Wukong down a little bit. If I was been playing more aggressively, if I'd have been pushed further in the minion wave than I had been, I possibly would have died there to Corki's Gatling gun. So if you are a ranged character, it's always a good idea to stay at the maximum range you possibly can. Stay at the back, like keep getting your last hits, come in now and again to give them a little dig, like harass the enemy team as much as you can, but without letting yourself be put in a dangerous situation where you can possibly be ganked. I want to talk a little bit about using wards as well. If you are not using wards regularly in your games, you are doing it wrong. 100% you are doing it wrong. You deserve every gank that comes your way. You see the ward I've just placed in the bush from River? That is going to protect me against pretty much every possible gank that's coming my way. I don't need to rely on my teammates to call out missing or SS or whatever you want to call out. I don't need to rely on anyone else. Like if they don't call it, whatever, it doesn't matter. I can see that someone is in that bush, and that's where pretty much every gank is going to be coming from that bush. So I'm pretty much, at the moment, I'm pretty much ungankable. I'm in good position. The minion wave's in a good position. I've got a ward in the bush. I've got good vision over the map. I've got my Ashe, the Hawk arrow thing that is like a targetable ward, but obviously not every character's got that. It's just another thing that makes Ashe really useful in a game. But map awareness and wards and anything you can do, like clairvoyance, anything you can do to gain map awareness over the opponent is so important. It cannot be stressed enough how much wards win games. But in this situation, because of the ward, I even feel comfortable enough to overextend a little bit towards Wukong. It does backfire as he puts his clone down and goes invisible. There's not really a lot I can do to see him invisible. I do end up dying, but yeah, because of the ward, I knew no one was coming down from mid. I was not going to be ganked by Ashe coming down from mid, getting me with a stun or anything nasty like that, or possibly their jungler coming out and getting some horrible gank going on. Here you can see after I died, my teammate in mid had called for me to come up and take over mid for a little bit while he bases, because he needed mana, he needed to go back and buy some stuff. So he just asked me to come and cover mid for a little bit. That's another like good little tactic. If someone needs help somewhere, don't just blame them for being bad for needing help. Like, go and help them. It is your fault if your teammates are doing bad as well. You should always be thinking, what can I have done to change that situation? What could I have done to help my teammates out more? Like, if they're dying a lot because they're being ganked, go and buy a ward and put it down where they're getting ganked from. Like, just help each other out, and that's how you're going to win all your games. Because if the other team doesn't, then your team's working as a group. And because of the teamwork, we're able to get a nice little gank off on Ashe, helping us both out, because Xerath has come back from his base, full health, full mana, easily able to take down Ashe from my stun, and yeah, we get a nice little gank out of it. We're coming up to going to conclude my guide for my newbie guide for League of Legends. Hope everyone's enjoyed it. I've enjoyed making it. It's been fun getting the footage. My guide's coming up after this because everyone asks, oh, what character should I play? Like, in my opinion, you should play at least one of every kind of character. Like, you should be playing one tank, you should be playing a melee DPS, you should be playing a ranged DPS, you should be playing a ranged ability power, you should be playing a support, you should be playing a jungler. Like, you should be able to fill all of these roles. Like, when you go into character selection, most of the time people just lock in their one favourite character, and everyone ends up on the whole team ends up like ranged DPS or ranged AD or ranged AP, and there's no tank, there's no support, there's no jungler, and if you get a team of full DPS against a balanced team that has a tank, a jungler, a support, and ability power, like melee and like AD carries, just a really well balanced team, they're going to dominate just a full DPS carry team every single time. Like, they might do well early game, but as soon as their like DPS gets farmed, as soon as the carries get farmed, as soon as their tank starts being able to tank properly, they're going to be beaten every single time. So my next guides coming up are going to be one for each kind of character. I'm going to be doing one tank, one melee DPS, one ranged AD, one ranged AP, one support and one jungler, and hopefully you'll learn to play one of each kind of class, so you'll be able to fill any role in the team at any time. Don't be one of those guys that just goes in, you can only play one character, and if that character's been taken, or if that character was already, like, we don't need that kind of character, you can't do anything else, you're just completely useless to the team. Like, be the guy that's able to go in and be like, oh, what do we need? Do we need a tank? Do we need a support? Do we need more AD? Do we need more AP? Do we need this? Do we need that? Do we need more stuns? Do we need a jungler? Like, be that guy that can fill the different roles, and I guarantee you will win more games that way. Also, having the knowledge and understanding how these different classes work and how they work together will definitely make you a better player for every kind of new character you want to try. Like, if there's a new character you fancy giving this one a go, you'll be like, oh, well, I already know how to play this kind of character, this is pretty similar, so you'll be able to jump straight in and not be a complete retard with it. Anyway, that's for the later guides coming up. Thanks for watching, everyone. I've been FPK Napper. I'll see you next time, hopefully looking at the next guides.